He doesn't pay his fair share. Don't worry about that. He doesn't pay his fair share.
Former years of Donald Trump will be former years of the same, only worse.
Protesting is not burning or looting or violating and can't be tolerated. Folks, it's my coach used to say it's go-to time. It's go time now. Look, Donald Trump doesn't understand health care.
Guess what? 500 million people have watched what I've done out of my basement.
I'm back. I've been here a number of times. Last time was, I think, all the way back in 2014, but I've been here before that. I love this place. Look, what's not to like about Vermont in terms of the beauty of it, and what a neat town. But you know, in the 2020 census, which is now 2 censuses ago, soon to be, stop the Cold War future that we're talking about. We're talking about a peaceful Cold War. What are we talking about? My wife, Jill, as you know, and Doug Emhoff, Kamala's wife, are there. Kamala will be back later this week, I think on Friday. If that's raining outside, come on in, guys. I don't want anybody out there. Are you guys in the rain? Or is that not rain? I thought that was rain. It is?
They only get one shot, and your first issue that you're going to push, you get one shot.
The first thing I would do is make sure that we defeat Donald Trump. Okay. Period. Welcome to Kingswood Community Center. Actually, that's the one down I used to work. It's a joke. You know where we were. Anyway. I can hardly wait to debate him on stage. I want people to see me standing next to him and him standing next to me. We'll see who's sleepy.
Mr. Vice President, thank you. Thanks for your time. Please come back in less than 13 years, sir.
All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
All right. It's Chris, but anyway.
Chris. I just did Chris. No, I just did Chuck. I tell you what, man, these are back-to-back. Anyway. If you notice, I have more people supporting me in the black community that have announced for me because they know me. They know who I am. 3 former chairs of the Black Caucus, the only African-American woman that ever been elected to the United States Senate, a whole range of people.
No,
my point
is
that's not
true. The other one is here.
I said the first. I said the first African-American elected. We should make sure that we have no one going to jail for a drug offense. They go directly mandatory mandatory treatment, not prison.
We have to hold every drug user accountable, because if there were no drug users, there would be no appetite for drugs, and there'd be no market for them.
The fact of the matter is that what's happened is that we're in a situation now where there are so many people who are in jail and shouldn't be in jail. The whole means by which this should change is the whole model has to change. We should be talking about rehabilitation. Nobody should be in jail for a nonviolent crime. This is the most consequential election in a long time. And the character of the country, in my view, is literally on the ballot. What kind of country we're going to be. 4 more years of George, is going to find ourselves in a position where, if Trump gets elected, we're going to be in a different world.
First, he tries to charm you. President Bush tries to charm you. Because we've seen nothing that we can work, but I can work with President Bush on, and I'm disappointed because I thought either we win or whoever wins understands the priorities of the American people, and they are not with President Bush. Excuse me. I'm so sorry, President Bush.
I'm coming directly to you for ask a quick favor. We bring social workers into homes of parents to help them deal with how to raise their children. It's not that they don't want to help. They don't know quite what to do. Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night, the phone. Make sure the kids hear words. A kid coming from a very poor school, or a very poor background, will hear 4 million words fewer spoken by the time they get there. I'm also the only guy that got assault weapons banned, and the number of clips in a gun banned. Lonnie knows I believe this every fiber of my being. We're posed. What I propose is it can be done. Critical laws like the PRO Act to strengthen collective bargaining. On politics like prevailing and look, I guess I'm taking too much time, but and perhaps most cruelly of all, If Donald Trump has his way, the complications from COVID-19, which are well beyond what they should be. It's estimated that 200 million people have died, probably by the time I finish this talk. No man has a right to raise a hand to a woman in anger other than in self-defense, and that's rarely ever occurs. And so we have to just change the culture, period, and keep punching at it and punching at it and punching at it. It will be a big, no, I really mean it. It's a gigantic issue, and we have to make it clear. And the idea that instead of standing there and teaching a cop who's an unarmed person to coming at him with a knife or something to shoot him in the leg instead of in the heart is a very different thing. And talking to an awful lot of the police, like the former police Commissioner Ramsey, who you know we had, there's a lot that can be done. A lot that can be done. 4 more years of Donald Trump will go down as an aberration. Hard to overcome the damage he's done, but we can overcome it. 8 more years of Donald Trump will change America in a fundamental way. By the way, this is my little sister, Valerie, and I'm Jill's husband. Oh, no, this is oh, you switched on me. This is my wife. This is my sister. They switched on me. I would see to it immediately moving toward, you know, we're in fact in a position now that if in fact we dealt with mitigation across the board, just what we did in the last administration and before, leading to a standard that we provide efficiency for appliances. That saves billions of gallons of gasoline. I mean, billions of, I think it's $2.3 billion worth of, $500 billion in savings and 2-point-something billion metric tons of CO2 going in the air. I'm ready on day one after more than 3 years in office. Why isn't Donald Trump ready? Mr. President, wake up. To make sure everyone's included on the deal. You want to nominate a Democrat, a lifelong Democrat, a proud Democrat, an Biden-Obama Democrat, join us. You get a tax break for a racehorse. Why in God's name couldn't we provide an $8,000 tax credit for everybody who has child care costs? It would put 720 million women back in the workforce. COVID has taken this year, just since the outbreak, it's taken more than 100 years. Look, here's the lives. When you think about it.
Some kind of a federal mandate on masks?
You can't make a federal mandate, but I would insist that, in fact, there would be masks. I'd lay out a plan, a detailed plan, which I have laid out in detail.
Wouldn't you use your federal leverage to mandate that, though?
Yes.
And would you?
Yes, I would, from an executive standpoint. Yes, I would.
So you would, in effect, mandate the wearing of masks?
I would do everything on my possible to make it required that people had to wear masks in public. You know, the rapidly rising I don't know. I'm prepared to say that I have a record of over 40 years and that I'm going to beat Joe Biden. Because we cannot get reelected. We cannot win this reelection. Excuse me, we can only reelect Donald Trump.
Sir, I've got to ask you about packing the courts. And I know that you said yesterday you aren't going to answer the question until after the election. But this is the #1 thing that I've been asked about from viewers in the past couple of days.
Well, you've been asked by the viewers who are probably Republicans who don't want me continuing to talk about what they're doing to the court right now.
Well, sir, don't the voters deserve to know where you stand?
No, they don't. I'm not going to play his game. I just have one thing to say. Hang on here.
All right. Dance a little bit, Joe. Come on.
What you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African-American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things. And I have a simple proposition here. I'm here to ask you for your help. Where I come from, you don't get far unless you ask. My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate.
look me over. If you like what you see, help out. If not, vote for the other guy. Give me a look, though, okay? You know, we have to come together. That's why I'm running. I'm running as a proud Democrat for the Senate. We choose unity over division. We choose science over fiction. We choose truth over facts. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. China is going to eat our lunch? Come on, man. They can't even figure out how to deal with the fact that they have this great division between the China Sea and the mountains in the east, in the west. You know, they're not bad folks, but guess what? They're not competition for us. 150 million people have been killed since 2007 when Bernie voted to exempt the gun manufacturers from liability. More than all the wars, including Vietnam, from that point on.
I actually said the other night, I was watching him when he said about half the population wiped out with guns. I said, that's a horrible thing. That's the end of his evening. That's the end of his political career. And then after the debate, they're reviewing him. They said, Joe Biden had a great night last night.
Pick up your phones. Pick up your phone now. Send a text to the word United to the number 30330. Okay? That's United. 30330 or 303-330 or BOO. Wait. You got it. It's on the back there. If you agree with me, go to Joe 30330 and help me in this fight. We're in a situation where we have put together, and you guys did it for our administration, the President Obama's administration before this. We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics. And by the way, we don't do things like those chumps out there with a microphone are doing, the Trump guys. Dr. Fauci called for a mask mandate last week. This isn't a political statement like those ugly folks over there beeping the horns. When I was here in Philly earlier today, there are 80 Trump pickup trucks with flags riding around my block, beeping their horns for a couple hours. We've never had anything like this.
How do you explain the performance in Iowa, and why should the voters believe that you can win the national election?
It's a good question. Number one, Iowa's a Democratic caucus. You ever been to a caucus? No, you haven't. You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. You said you were, but now you got to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yesterday, you said you accepted Bernie's apology, and now you're attacking him. Why are you doing that?
Go.
Why wasn't his apology enough, Mr. Vice President? Why attack Sanders?
Why? You're getting nervous, man. Just calm down. It's okay. In my household, you could never, ever say, you get in a fight with somebody, you could never say anything about them. It was true. You couldn't say if they were 300 pounds, you couldn't say you're fat. You couldn't say you're skinny. You shouldn't say you're short. And you want to check my shape on, let's do push-ups together here, man. Let's run. Let's do whatever you want to do. Let's take a nice push-ups. Look, fat, look, here's the deal. If they were 300 pounds, you couldn't say you're fat. Look, fat, look, here's the deal. I'll do what he's unable to do. I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure, isolate, and punish China. Donald Trump thinks health care is a privilege. Barack and I think it's a right for people to have bad health care. We hold these truths to be self-evident. Sounds corny. Not a joke. Think about it. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
Have you been tested for some degree of cognitive decline?
I've been tested and I'm constantly tested. Look.
Please clarify specifically, have you taken a cognitive test?
No, I haven't taken a test. Why the hell would I take a test? Come on, man. That's like saying before you got in this program, if you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not, what do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
What do you say?
Anyway, I am very willing to let the American public judge my physical and mental as well as my mental fitness.
and to make a judgment about who I am.
Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black. What people drastically underestimate is the impact on the mental health of people who now everything is complicated. Not only is the healthcare piece, but people don't have a job, people don't have anywhere to go, they don't know what they're going to do. And a lot of people you have unnecessarily, now we have over 120 million dead from COVID. And by the way, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.